How's it going, everybody? C-RadTV back here in another video. So, of course, we got another week of playoff football upon us after we came off an excellent week of playoff football last week with a lot of great games and a lot of great finishes. A lot happened last week in the playoffs with those 4 divisional round games, but now we have reached it. We are now reached the championship round of the playoffs, as we have now reached the AFC and the NFC Championship games. So we're gonna go over both games individually, and I'm gonna give you my picks as to who I think will win the AFC Championship and who I think will win the NFC Championship, and battle it out to the death in Super Bowl 56 for the 56 Lombardi Trophy. So of course, last week in the playoffs, I went 1-3 in the divisional round last week. I only got one game right last week. So my overall record this year goes to 175 and 108, and my playoff record goes to 6-4. So yeah, let's jump straight into the AFC and NFC Championship games and see how we stack up this week. So of course, we're going to start this off with the earlier game, which is the AFC Championship at Sunday at 3 o'clock. The AFC Championship game will be between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead at Kansas City. The Chiefs are favored in this game by 7 points. In terms of the overall series, Cincinnati leads the all-time series 16-14, and Cincinnati has won 5 of the last 6 meetings against the Chiefs. And oddly enough, this is the first time ever that both teams have met each other in the playoffs. These two teams have never crossed paths in the playoffs. Until now. So, of course, for Cincinnati, nobody really noteworthy on the injury list that's questionable for this game. For the Chiefs, Tyrann Mathieu, he's questionable for this game because he's under concussion protocol. I imagine he should be cleared in time and he'll be playing Sunday. And then Rashad Fenton, he's questionable with an undisclosed injury, so there's question marks there. But, yeah, this game, it's going to be Patrick Mahomes versus Joe Burrow. So, of course, on the Bengals last week, they were coming off that massive win against the Titans, knocking off the number 1 seed Tennessee Titans in Tennessee on a last-second field goal. And then you had the Kansas City Chiefs, who won that massive, crazy game against the Bills, that game that really got high scoring in the last 2 minutes, with the Chiefs winning that game over Buffalo 42-36. And, of course, the one complaint I always heard from that game was about the goddamn overtime rule. Because everyone's saying that, oh, the overtime rule sucks. It needs to be changed. It's so unfair. Buffalo should have had a chance to possess the ball. Here's my counter-argument to that. It's called a team sport for a reason. If your defense cannot stop a 75-yard drive when it matters the most, then you don't deserve to get the ball back on offense. And the funny thing is, Chiefs fans were bitching and complaining and wanting that rule change back in 2019 when they lost the AFC title game to New England. But of course, after this game, Chief fans weren't saying a damn thing about the overtime rule. Funny how that works. Since the Bills, but yeah, if you really didn't want it to be decided on a coin flip, or not and who got the ball first in overtime, then here's a tip, Buffalo. Don't give up 2 45-yard passes and a field goal with 13 seconds left. Buffalo literally had the game won. All they literally had to do was maybe make 1 or 2 defensive stops against the Chiefs. And they couldn't even do that. And Buffalo had the number 1 ranked defense in the league. And they couldn't perform when it mattered the most. Hell, I think Dan Campbell even said it best. If you don't have a problem with the overtime rules, then simply put, don't put yourself in that position then, to where the game doesn't get decided by that. And actually, someone pointed out that only 52.7% of the games that have went to overtime have been won by the team that got the ball first. And I believe someone mentioned that. I believe Louis Riddick on ESPN mentioned that. Since the new overtime rules came into effect, only, I believe it was 21.6% of the teams that got the ball first scored a touchdown on their opening drive in overtime. So yeah, simply put, it wasn't decided by a coin flip. Coin flip does not decide who wins in overtime. It's about strategy and execution. Something the Bills didn't do last week. So, yeah. And, yeah, you can bitch and complain about the rule change, about the NFL changing the rule all you want. It's not going to happen. NFL's not going to change it. Oh, no. Why would they change it now? Because this rule helped their golden boy, Mahomes, win. So why would they change something that helps their golden child win? Not now. Why now? But yeah, for this game, just looking at that point spread, yeah, I'm not taking the Chiefs for that spread. I think 7 points for a championship game is way too high. That spread is way too high. Especially after that big game between both teams last week, in week 17. That big thriller game. You know what? I'm going to take the Bengals to win again. I'm going to take the Bengals just because that point spread is way too high. I can't take the Chiefs by 7. That's way too high. See, I'm taking the Bengals in this game. I think it's going to be a very high-scoring game. I think it's going to be an absolute shootout barn burner between Burrow and Mahomes. And if you look at what happened in that Week 17 game, Jamar Chase just completely torched the Chiefs in that game. So, yeah, and I think if the Chiefs don't cover Jamar Chase, I think they're going to have a rough time against the Bengals. But, yeah. But I think the one thing the Bengals offensive line needs to do to win this game is simply put, don't give up 9 sacks this time. Because I'm not sure how Cincinnati won last week after that offensive line played like utter dog shit. But yeah, you know what? I'm taking the Bengals in this game. Give me Cincinnati. And now since I just picked Cincinnati, watch Kansas City now win this game. Because I guess the NFL wants to do everything in their power to make sure the Golden Boy is in their 3rd straight Super Bowl. Especially with the Super Bowl in Hollywood this year. God help us all. Joe Burrow is our last hope to not see Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. Please, Cincinnati, come through in the clutch. So now we get to the later game, the 6:30 game for the NFC Championship, as this game will be between the San Francisco 49ers and the Los Angeles Rams playing in Los Angeles. The Rams are favored in this game by 3.5 points. And also, regardless of who wins, Los Angeles is now guaranteed this year to host both the NFC Championship game and the Super Bowl all in the same season. I don't know if that's ever happened before. That the same team and that the same city hosts both the NFC title game and the Super Bowl in the same year. I don't know if that's ever happened. If that's ever happened before, comment it down below. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think that's ever happened. Correct me if I'm wrong. Well, yeah, this is going to be a really good game between these two. Of course, San Francisco, the two division rivals. San Francisco, they swept the season series over the Rams this season. Of course, for the all-time head-to-head series, San Francisco leads the series 75-67-3. And San Francisco has won the last 6 meetings against the Rams. And all 6 have come with Jimmy Garoppolo under center. And of course, this is the second ever playoff meeting between these two franchises, as their other playoff appearance, when they met each other, was in the 1990 NFC title game between the 49ers and Rams. And the 49ers went on to win that game in 1990, 30-3. And San Francisco went on to win the Super Bowl that year. So yeah. For the 49ers, Mohamed Sanu, he's questionable with a knee injury, and Trent Williams is questionable with an ankle injury. For the Rams, Andrew Whitworth's questionable with a knee injury, and Taylor Rapp, he's questionable as he's under concussion protocol. I imagine he should be cleared in time. And of course, 49ers, they're coming off that massive win up in Green Bay last Saturday when they knocked off the number 1 seed Green Bay Packers and possibly ended either Aaron Rodgers' career or they ended Aaron Rodgers, at least his career in Green Bay. Now, whether it's his actual career, that's yet to be seen. And of course, on the Rams, they're coming off the massive win in Tampa Bay last Sunday when they knocked off the Buccaneers and Matt Stafford getting the biggest playoff win of his career. And of course, the Rams possibly might have just sent Tom Brady into retirement, as this might have been the last time Tom Brady ever graces an NFL field. As we ask that question, is this at the end for Brady's career? For the 1 millionth goddamn time. Okay, it's obviously not the 1 millionth goddamn time, but it feels like it, and you get the point. But yeah, I think, the last time these two teams met was in Week 18, and that was a really good game, a really great game between those two. I think this is going to be a really close game. But, I feel like the regular season sweep isn't going to mean anything, because I think it's going to be a similar situation between the Buccaneers and Saints last year, when the Saints swept the Buccaneers in the regular season, but Tampa Bay went on and won the playoff meeting against the Saints in the Saints building. And so, of course, on this one, I feel like it's going to be deja vu of that last year. Plus, keep in mind in this, we've had two previous matchups in the playoffs already this year between two division rivals. Both those matchups be Buffalo versus New England and Los Angeles versus Arizona. And in those matchups, whoever the home team was for that matchup has won. And, of course, last year, in the 3 playoff matchups we had, last year, the road team won those matchups, and this year the home team has. So, with all that being said, I think it's going to be a repeat of what happened between the Saints and Buccaneers last year. I think San Francisco sweeps the regular season. I say San Francisco sweeps the series, but Los Angeles wins the playoff game when it matters the most. Honestly, the Rams should have won that game on Week 18, but they just completely fell apart. I think Los Angeles will not make that same mistake 2 times in a row. Like, it's going to be a really tough game. It's going to be a question about who has the better game, Cooper Kupp or Deebo Samuel. I think it's going to be a really high-scoring game. I could see it being really crazy, but I'm going to go with the Rams on this one. I think it's the Rams' time. I think Los Angeles will win. I got Los Angeles winning. I'm taking the spread, so I'm taking the Rams by at least 4. So give me the Rams plus the points. So yeah, and I think for the second year in a row, I think the host team for the Super Bowl will play in the Super Bowl. Because last year we had the Buccaneers play the Super Bowl in their own stadium. This year I think the Rams play the Super Bowl in their own stadium. So yeah, I'm going to take the Rams in this one. Give me Los Angeles, and I think Matt Stafford will officially play in his first career Super Bowl. So yeah, I'm taking the Rams. But yeah, anyway, those are my championship picks and the teams I think will end up going on to the Super Bowl this year. So yeah, hopefully we have some more great football this Sunday in the NFC and the AFC Championship games. So yeah, of course, the best case scenario for the Super Bowl is Rams versus Bengals. I think that would be a really interesting matchup, a battle of the nines. That's the matchup I want to see, is Bengals versus Rams. Who do I think it will actually be realistically? I feel like it's going to be Chiefs versus Rams. It's going to be a rematch of that high-scoring Monday night game a few years ago when both teams put up 50 points against each other. But hey, we can all dream for the Bengals, right? We can all dream, damn it. But yeah, hopefully it's Rams versus Bengals. That would be a good matchup. But yeah, anyway, that'll wrap it up here. That's all I got to say, and I'll see you all whenever I make next. Peace.